Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Please help yourself to some coffee if you haven't already. Um, so we skipped last month, so this is the first. This is nice to see so many people here. Maybe it's the library instead of the NPR, but it seems like it's more crowded than usual. So, um, was sending out a message yesterday instead of last Thursday's newsletter. Did that help? Remind people?
Yeah.
People like that? Should I do that moving forward? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'll do that. Okay, so we've got a few things to talk about today. Student safety to and from school, California Safe Haven School Act, state testing, and then a bunch of upcoming events next week and the next few weeks. So, safety to and from school. You might have seen like a survey during conferences, that's kind of related to this. So we have a partnership with, our school, the city of Brisbane, Safe Routes to School, which is a organization that's kind of all over the country, I think, but it's partnered with, San Mateo County Office of Education. And so we are in this fellowship called the Safety Travel Fellowship. And there's also a committee. What's the committee called?
It's a complete street safety committee for the city of Brisbane.
Yes. And they're part of Brisbane City, I think.
Yeah.
So, so we're all working together, and we've got Emily from the organization she just mentioned through Brisbane, also a parent, and we've got Carlene, who is from, are you from Safe Routes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mateo County Office of Education.
Yes. So they might interject with anything I say. So we'll just kind of.
I'm on the call too. It's Kristen from Alta, part of the
Oh,
team.
great. And Alta is what is Alta? You could
Yeah, Alta is an active transportation engineering and planning firm, and one of the things we do and do best is safe routes to school. So that's our role. And then I think we're joined by our city staff too. Tomas, are you on from the city?
Yes, Tomas Santoyo, Assistant Engineer, Public Works Department, assisting with the process and participating in the school audit next week and the whole development of this Safe Travel Fellowship.
Great.
And Alta's going to do all the things that you guys want us to do. You give us the direction.
Wow.
We're going to try at least.
Great. Okay. So we've got lots of experts. We've got three of us here. We've got two people online. Feel free to interject if I'm leaving anything out. Okay. So our committee involves me, Maz, who is the Director of Public Works of Brisbane, Tomas, who just was speaking a moment ago online. He's our Assistant Engineer. Ida is our District CBO. Emily, who is the Chair of Complete Street Safety Committee. And then kind of like on a larger scale, we've got Carlene and we've got Kristen from Alta. Plus, there's a whole group of like various districts and county people that we all meet together and to plan. So the goal, and maybe you could expand on this, but the goal of this committee is to encourage walking and to make students safe traveling to and from school. Would you say that's okay?
And to enable more students to be able to walk and bike.
Yes, yes. So far we've done some things. So far in our committee, we've had various meetings. We had a student travel tally where we asked students for 2 days, how do you get to school? The majority either walk or drive. It doesn't add up to a total 100%. So the extra was like, carpool or maybe bike ride or various other things. But most drive to school with their families or they walk. And that's to and from. The difference between arriving at school and leaving school is slight, like 1 or 2%. We also had the school travel survey, which I mentioned earlier. You may have filled that out during the conference week. You scanned a barcode at the conference, at the classroom maybe, or maybe you saw it in the newsletter. And then we've ordered some traffic items for drop off and pickup. And so this is what we ordered. We ordered new cones with like a bar that kind of fits over the cones. So this orange line right here, this is the drop off and pickup area. And we have cones out there, right now, but these cones will now have bars on them when they arrive. And the reason for that is we want to just keep kids as safe as possible because sometimes parents park on this side of the street and then they walk across. We don't want that because, there's cars driving and they are not associated with our school and it could be a speedway and we just want to keep kids safe. So we want to encourage people crossing at the crosswalks. Also, sometimes, there's generally speaking, there's always, me and maybe a yard duty person, helping kids out of the cars in the morning. Sometimes parents get out to help their kids, but we want parents to stay inside because them getting out, is on the traffic side. So we could do that. And that will hopefully, this bar will hopefully discourage people from getting out on the traffic side. So that will be coming. I'll message it out very clearly before it starts. I'm not exactly sure when that's happening, but I'll let people know. Any questions so far? Okay. So the next steps, this Principal's Cafe. So you're learning about it. Next Wednesday, we're having a walk audit. So that's at 7:45. We'll meet in the MPR and then we'll kind of observe. Maybe you could talk more about the walk audit because you've done them before. I've never done one.
Yes, yes. So basically we'll meet and so Alta, Charlie actually will be the facilitator, will be here and they will kind of, when we meet at the very beginning at 7:45, we'll talk about the process of how it's going to work, which is pretty much you're gonna tell us where are the important places to go out and observe. So then we will break up into small groups and we'll go out and observe. I don't know, maybe 6 areas or whatever. We'll see how many people show. That always makes a difference too. Usually we have like 10 to 20 people show up for the walk audits. And then come back after the bell rings and talk about our observations and also we'll record those and come back with some recommendations.
Great, thanks. And then on Wednesday, May 6th in the evening, here at school, we'll have the complete Streets Safety Committee meeting. And childcare is available, I think, through Park and Rec, so you could sign up. An email with the sign up link for childcare is going out to in the newsletter today and also next week. Both the walk audit and the complete street safety committee, you are all welcome to attend. Like everybody in the community is welcome to attend.
There will be like dinner provided by Melissa's Taqueria. So there'll be burritos and chips and salsa and things of that sort on the 6th. And in the blast and in his newsletter, there's a flyer where you can click the QR code. If you're in Parks and Rec already, they're just gonna have a couple of leaders stay late and the kids can just stay late and hang with them. If you're not in Parks and Rec, you can use the QR code to sign up. So that way we know we have kind of a head count of how many leaders we need to stay and hang around and mind the kids and make sure that they're, having fun and doing great things while we're talking about different safe roads to school.
And they
Okay.
could be the case in Melissa's as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so after the walk audit, today's meeting, the meeting in May, our committee will kind of determine, okay, what do we really need to focus on? And then we will implement our kind of ideas and our plans at the beginning of next school year.
How long is the safety committee? How long does that usually last?
The meeting on the 6th, is that what you're asking? Yeah, it can usually last a couple of hours. It doesn't, you don't have to stay for the whole thing. But every month on the first Wednesday, we have our complete street safety committee meeting. Usually they're down at City Hall. But we've been hosting them at the library and now here just to try to move it around and make sure people can have access to it and encourage you to join us. I guess the lead that's been buried is we're looking to get a big grant to basically update all the sidewalks, the crosswalks, maybe build some bulb outs on the crosswalks to create less of a stretch for kids to cross. And so doing this, applying for this fellowship and getting accepted really helps us do that, because then we can go to the transportation authority and say, hey, we've already done this. We've already done the audits. We've already done the surveys with the families. This is what our information is. And I know South San Francisco, they got over $2 million to redo some of their stuff in front of some of their schools, so we're, you know, it would be great to get that much money, but you know, there's some places that don't even have sidewalks, and so kids really can't walk to school. And so we want to try and create ways that are safer for them to walk to school without, you know, fear or worry of cars, because there are a lot of cars and they do go fast. I myself have experienced that, so that's what we're hoping will come out of doing this.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Does this also include Littman?
Yeah, so it's a district-wide. The Complete Street Safety Committee is citywide. And so it's not just Littman, we're also looking at Panorama too, you know, making sure because they're part of the district. And so, but as far as the Brisbane part, we're strictly looking inside of BES and Littman and how to create, you know, better routes to school, better crosswalks. You'll notice on San Bruno that a bunch of the ladders crosswalks got repainted earlier this year thanks to Tomas and Maz and our committee. And then just recently Klamath got repainted and I pushed to have them put the yellow ladder in instead of just the white lines. And it makes a difference. You really can see like you got to stop and this is where you got to stop because kids are crossing here to get to school.
Thanks. So your input. So this is where I want you to help us. And so I've just drafted some questions. And I'm thinking you could just talk amongst the people around you. Maybe if you're, you know, combine a couple of tables. So I've just drafted 5 questions. Are there specific intersections, streets, crossings that cause concern? What traffic behaviors worry you during drop-off and pickup? What would you want or need for your child to walk to school? Obviously, if you live at the Ridge, you know, you're probably not going to walk to school, but you know, so, you know, your answer will be simple, but you know, if you live in the close by, you know, what are the needs that you might want? Would a walking school bus, which is a parent-led walking group, be helpful to you? And then what ideas do you have that can encourage more walking and make it safer? So feel free to just take a couple of minutes, turn around and discuss.
We all. I think that it's. I think there's. I've got the new outfit for all the trucks and. Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah. So I'm always like very careful. Like Amazon is there's not like, that's like. So I think that's very. Yeah. I'm very confident. And right now, it's all.
Bridge too, like
It's the intersection.
so we are here, so like there's no
Yeah,
lights,
it's the rain. It's like stop, like it's passing day, and people just have to be ready to stop.
Right.
And it's like. But yeah, I'm up on the ridge, and it gets a little bit tedious on like, is it safe for kids to walk through there? Yeah, it's just. Oh yeah. The bathroom, so when the 4-year-old is and then we go on that street. Then they cross it. There's the traffic. And then, I think they walk around. Yes. So there's the walk, and then you go down, and then there's out, and that's even. That was a lot of big trucks.
I mean, I drive every Thursday because I can speak very positive.
Yes.
I have a parent, so I'm. What's the word? Let's get all the kids, maybe some science.
Stop flashing. That's when.
There's one stuff.
You drive, the driver,
Yeah.
you know what's there. I don't know if
That's. They walk, sometimes walk and flag.
That things. Yeah, or if it's like, you solve that here. Do like left turn, like.
We're up on time.
They did that.
The first we're just discussing what everybody leaves.
I live on the bridge. I live on the bridge.
We're on Trinity, it's like the last here, no way to walk. Yeah, like there are no sidewalks.
Okay. That's.
Yeah.
The library is big, yeah.
To find it safe, they don't.
It's actually like there's a lot of contact, right? Yeah. Cost is speed and there's something. Surrounding car. Yeah. And flag and cross the. Or after like. When I do pick up. I forget. The stop when there's like space because it's so tight. Street of people are doing pickup and drop off. I'm like, well, let me just park because plenty of space. I don't like drive. To be honest. He's like, give me a lot of space. I don't want to walk in there. You don't want that. Yeah, it's very scary because it's like fun. Yeah, I don't. I like. I things are like. I love the trees. They high there. Coming up.
I drive here every day, but aren't there signage for the? I know, like there's lots of parents who stop on the other side and kids run in the middle of the street, which is I just find the rest of the drivers.
I mean, proper signage, there's, well,
I know
that's
it's always
something we
said
could
this.
do.
Yeah.
There could be more signs, that's something we can do.
Yeah, like kind of point at the crossroads.
Yeah.
Because parents and wherever you send us away. And there's the father in the beginning of the year, reminders, this is where the kids are going to stop. And you. It's not like, now street there because of people speak.
Yeah.
Also.
So kind of a reminder that there are kids in play or one of those.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna bring it back up and then we're gonna popcorn out part. Okay, if we can wrap up your conversations and then we'll bring it back up and just kind of share what your group came up with. Okay, thanks. I heard a lot of really interesting conversations. I think I listened to every group. So Carlene is going to write down some answers. So not every single thing that was said needs to be shared, but maybe just, I'll just go each question one at a time. And, if you think, oh, well, we had a really good idea or a couple ideas, maybe just share those out. So the first question, are there specific intersections, streets, or crossings that cause concern? Just yell out.
The crosswalk right there that people come over the hill.
Glen Park and San Bruno.
Yes, and the one like kind of point out both for parents and
Okay.
drivers.
I would
Uh,
also say San Bruno and Alvarado.
San Bruno,
Yes,
down there
like
at
the
the
one
end
down-
of the
yeah.
soccer field.
Yeah.
They can all the street all the way down.
Others?
Adding to that, so that was a big topic at our table. So first two bullets, right? It's the drop off traffic to me is, I think, a problem because a lot of parents get to go that way in the morning. And there's no left turn down on Bay Shore. So we end up doing maneuvers to like either go back here on Glen Park, U-turn, come back around, and then it gets really chaotic in that corner. Plus there's low visibility kind of coming over the hill and it's really key. So I've always thought that's a way more dangerous corner than.
Talk about Thomas up there.
No,
Just
Yeah.
Glen Park,
Right.
Glen Park, yeah. Well, that's the one, to clarify, that Glen Park and San Bruno is the one that we use as our application for this grant. And so there will be, Kristen can speak to this, one of the things that Kristen's gonna work on is temporary measures. Like we can try them out, see if bulb outs there help, if repainting different crosswalks helps. And then see if that slows down traffic.
From the vehicle standpoint, as a driver, the maneuvering part, I think, needs to be solved. So bulb outs would actually probably add to the problem. I'm not an engineer, but yes, it's about the crosswalk, but it's also about how do you encourage parents to follow better habits,
And what is the correct, giving
Yeah.
parents a route or.
routes to like get out, because then in the
You
morning.
have to go the way up. Yes.
Yeah, or we end up turning in the parking lot back here and then coming back around. There's a lot of things that people do.
Okay, good, thank you.
Climate and Sierra Point Road. There is something about the hidden sidewalks, if you will, of Brisbane. And that is a massive blind spot, because any child coming down off that sidewalk there's a bush right there. They cannot see a car going right on Sierra Point Road. I think there is something about following the sidewalks, these sidewalks as they come out. And what visibility does a driver have for a child that's trying to walk to school? Because I think that's pretty dangerous over there.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What traffic barriers worry you about drop off and pickup? Or behaviors, excuse me, what traffic behaviors?
We heard speed over here.
Speed? Yeah, I heard speed as well. Other things? U-turns?
Drop
Okay.
off pickups on the other side of the
Yeah,
street.
on the other side?
Which parents
Yes.
should be aware, but it still
Yes.
happens.
Yes, and I also know, the people that live over there, they sometimes complain because
Oh,
they need to
yes.
get out
Yeah.
and a car's blocking them. Okay. What would you need or want for your child to walk to school? For those that, maybe you don't walk, but you live close enough to walk, but what would you need? No?
Is
Okay,
it timing? Is it, you're rushing, so you just need to get going, so you drive? Would it be better? The next question is the walking school bus is one of those that might be helpful. If there was set, we'll say bus stops throughout central Brisbane where trusted parents can stop while they're walking to school and pick up other kids, like treat it as like it was a school bus, big yellow bus, but not, it's just they're walking. And so every day or every Tuesday, someone's gonna be there at that stop at 8:02, and then they're gonna be at the next stop at 8:05.
would people use a walking school bus if
Or other
there was one?
Already doing that before, our daughter was allowed to walk to school though. So we knew the neighbor was going to school, we would wait and then send her off with them.
Okay,
So that we didn't have to also, because we live in a place where the only way to drop her off is across the street, right? We're not gonna go all the way around town to drop her. So it's easier to have her walk than to try and like U-turn the car.
right, okay. And then what other ideas do you have that would encourage more walking and make it safer?
Think the lack of the sidewalks in certain neighborhoods, it just makes it impossible to get here safely. The neighborhood,
Not just the lack of times, but people blocking the sidewalks because they park their cars and
Ah.
blocks the sidewalks, so then more.
I noticed that when I was over here last time.
I heard, oh yeah, go ahead.
Visibility at intersections.
Right, because
Yeah, I think your group was like maybe flashing lights.
that
I'm
intersection
or-
there's a big palm tree,
Yeah.
so if you're waiting to cross. And the car's coming over the hill, they can't see you waiting there. So just clearing so you can see somebody standing there would be, I think, very helpful.
Okay, okay.
Speed bumps?
Speed bumps, okay. Other things? Yes,
Visible reinforcement of the speed and stop signs and things.
so like more
Cops are
signage, you
right
mean?
there. Oh, when the cops show up, more regularly, and like the people that do just speed by and don't care are gonna get caught, and then
Yes.
maybe that deters them and the
Yeah.
rideshare drivers that use it as
no idea what they're doing. So they speed by to catch people and they U-turn to catch people, and it's like, you're not.
Oh, the
helping.
cops themselves.
Yeah. And just the car being there, the big SUV being
Right.
there and deterring.
And they are there like, I don't know, half the time it seems. So that's nice.
But there is something about law enforcement, visibility. I mean, I'm thinking the effect would be greater is if the police officers actually just turned on their lights. And that way, drivers are gonna see, there's a cop, I am not speeding. That is more of a deterrent than somebody hiding down the street. And if you think about the different ways in which families walk towards there, I don't know their schedules, so I'm not gonna take the time for that. But 3 police officers with their lights on for 30 minutes around time for school, in my mind, would create a very heightened sense of security for families and children.
Okay, good.
I would suggest if the police are actually at the corners that don't have crosswalks.
Yeah.
And just have them act as a crosswalk if they're gonna be here anyway. Because it would be so much easier to just have like a crossing guard at the 2 corners, the far end corners. For everyone.
So you have one crossing.
We have
guard,
one
but
crossing
not-
guard at Santa Clara and
And that is school or?
he's a city employee,
City
I'm
employee,
assuming.
The city employee.
He's not
But
our-
would adding more crossing guards, whether that be
I think
parents
so.
or, I don't know, when I was a kid, fifth graders did it.
Right,
So-
yeah. Yeah, I know like AAA, well, at least they used to. AAA used to have a program that would train 5th graders,
Yes.
and they would be crossing guards.
Well, they don't go in the street, but they have a role and you wouldn't put kids in the street.
Yeah, I guess when I did it, it was like the crosswalk through the entrance into the parking lot. So it's a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah.
different. We don't really have that here, so, yeah.
Maybe those flags that we have now everywhere in lower part, maybe just have, I know how you guys give the flags, but they're super useful.
The orange
With
flag,
orange
Demon
flags.
flags.
Yeah, maybe if we put the same kind of setup here,
Lakeland Park.
yeah.
There have to be a only drop off in the one side of the building instead of as opposed to the back side, because the kids that come through the back don't have to walk all the way around the front, and then they could just, go in for the, what is that kindergarten yard or area through the park.
So you're saying, can we have drop off back
Or
there?
not just one, I mean, that's as a secondary drop off.
2 options for drop off.
I mean, that's something to consider, but I know that, there's staff are arriving at all various times. I mean, there's teachers that come in by a certain time, but then we've got, most of our staff are, classified staff where their time that they arrive is a little bit later, and it's all during that drop off window. And so when they're trying to park and there's like a stream of cars that are dropping off, it creates a horrible I could see it could create a horrible traffic jam. I'm not saying like, no, we won't do it. We would just need to like give some really good thought because, we need people to get to work on time.
So this could be something that's looked at during the walk audit.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Kristen, do you want to say anything about that?
Kristen, did you want to mention anything?
Lost
Okay.
No, I do have another, I know California is, I'm not sure if they're enforcing now, the daylighting law.
Yes, yes, they're in first.
So I know that time when they pushed it out as a early this year, early last year, that there was some confusion because the curb are not painted, right? And that's where it was, they don't argue that you're not paying hot, I know I'm not from hot this. That give visibility at each intersection where you see actually any individual, not just students, right? That is just not for school, but every single, 24/7. I don't know if our cops are enforcing that. I think that's a good for them to enforce that so that there's no car even double park in that, the first one.
Those are not red now.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, AB 413 was a law that was passed that every city had to pull back parking up to intersections, so you could actually see. And so what the previous director of engineering did was he just said, well, no, let's just put little red flashers out. And even as a committee, I could say we objected to that. And so with the new Director of Public Works, they are painting, they're gonna start painting, but they're gonna paint the more highly needed ones first,
Which would be schools.
which will be schools. And so I think there was a group of volunteers from the city managers put out a request for volunteers to help paint the curbs as well. I'm not sure if that has taken
That
place
happened
yet.
at a couple intersections on this.
Okay.
We've had a paint refresh near us.
Good. So I know that will help because it will force people not to park as close to the intersection. But that's a work in progress.
Okay. Yes.
I have a comment about the speed limit signs here. So I see on San Bruno, speed limit says is 15. But is it 15 like only when students are present or throughout the whole time, 24 hours?
Only when students are present.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it doesn't say that. And then, so when there's no student present, what's the speed limit for that?
25.
I see. Maybe it could be better, like, advertised so that people know that, because when they don't know, then they either speed when there are students present, so I think it should be better stated what speed limits are.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the time.
Good. Okay, thank you, everybody, for your input. This is very helpful. So our committee is going to discuss, kind of what we talked about today. We'll meet again on May 6th. You are welcome to join. It will be in the NPR. And you're welcome to come to the walk audit next Wednesday morning. Anything else that we want to add before we move on to the next topic? Okay, thank you. And we're leaving this and we're moving on to the next topic. So the California Safe Haven School Act, this is Assembly Bill 49. This was passed at the end of last calendar year, 2025. And this is protection against ICE in schools. So it prohibits ICE agents from entering non-public areas of schools without a warrant. So they couldn't just walk into the library. This is a non-public area. They could walk to the front office. They could deal with me and Eva. If they do deal with us, we would be, asking for a warrant, asking for IDs. We are not allowed to give them any information. So if they're like, oh, we need to know who is this kid's teacher and, where they live. Well, we're not going to give them any information. Good news is that there has been 0 ICE sightings at anywhere in San Mateo County schools. They have been in San Mateo, but not at any of the schools. So that's good news. So chances are we won't have to enact any of these things that the bill is doing to protect our students. But I'm just letting you know, if it happens, we've got protections in place that the law provides. Yes.
Area? Within the public area.
The office and off campus. The yard is a private area. We cannot have anybody coming onto the yard. So basically the office is the only public area. Yeah, good question.
Just for clarity, the personal information about pupils also extends to families, parents.
And we're not going to give any information out. If they ask us, we will not. And we also will, we have a county lawyer who represents our district. So if this does happen, I would contact the superintendent or the county lawyer, and then they would help advise us. But essentially they would say, no, don't do anything. Okay, any questions about that? Please let people know, your friends, your neighbors, because I know not everybody is here, but I know this is very stressful for some of our families. And I think this information will help them feel more secure.
So, when I was working over at Oakland, we had these cards that we would give, families.
Yeah, the red cards.
Are you guys giving those out to people here that,
We've done that, I think, twice since I've been principal. I think once last school year, and once earlier this year. I put it in the newsletter. I think it went out in the Thursday folders. We will probably continue to do that. We don't do it all the time, but probably like at least once a year. I could bring it up with our leadership, how often do we want to do that? but it's at least once a year for the last 2 years.
Just have it digitally in your newsletter?
I probably could. I could probably put it down to like the bottom where I've got like a bunch of like ongoing links. Yeah, I could do that. That's a good.
Like, I think some like folks might not be like a, not everybody checks their email, or not everybody has like the time to like be, on the internet, or, like maybe just have a sign also somewhere if that was something.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you. Okay, next topic, state testing. This is for 3rd through 8th grade. So if you have kids at Littman or anywhere else in middle school, well, for here in Littman anyway, and Panorama too, testing is from Monday, May 4th to Tuesday, May 19th. This is for 3rd through 8th graders. This tests English language arts, math, and science for 5th and 8th graders only. And so the teachers have been preparing students in their classrooms, so students are familiar with it's a computer-based test. They're familiar with the interface of, the test, so they know like, oh, what does this icon mean, and how do I, click to the next question, and so forth like that. They've also been practicing and preparing like, okay, how do I answer these questions and this content that I might not know yet, or maybe I do, but I could use strategies to help me answer these. So they've been working on that for the last few months. What you can do at home is make sure your child gets enough sleep, especially during those 2 weeks, or 2 weeks plus. Make sure they have a breakfast either at home or get a breakfast before school. I know sometimes kids pick up a breakfast and then eat it at morning recess. But to really get that nutrition, they should really be eating before school. Especially, to make sure their body's feeling healthy by the testing time. And make sure they're here, not tardy. Of course, if they're sick, that's fine. There is time for makeups, but please don't schedule like vacations or time off that's not really important. And then just encourage your kid. So we're trying to make this, our teachers are they're talking about, growth mindset and trying to be as calm as possible, because kids get nervous around like just a regular test. But then you put this state testing on there and kids could get nervous. So we're really encouraging kids like, this stuff. We've been teaching you all year long. You know the strategies. You can do your best. This is not graded. So just please encourage them at home as well, because some kids could get really stressed about test anxiety. Any questions about testing?
So the results of these, this is what the school board shared last year, like November, October?
Yeah, they come out like end of summer. And then you'll get a letter with your individual student scores, and then we publish them, or we make them available, or we, meaning the state, makes them all school test scores available in the fall.
So if I recall correctly, BES was F or D grade last year. I think the discussion was that changes would be made this year. Has anything been done between last year to this year for our grades that was different?
So the way it's published is through the California dashboard, and it's basically like a rainbow, like, doot, 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 doot. So like I think blue is like, the best, green is pretty good. Whatever's next, yellow, orange, red. So we were for language arts and for math. Forgive me, there's lots of different of those scales for all data points of the school, but I think for both language arts and math, we were both red or, blue or green. I can't remember. And so it will rate us that way as well next year. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. Various events. We've got our math festival coming up next Thursday. It's at Littman. It is district-wide, so the one we had last year and the last several years. It's been very successful, and the other schools are like, we want to do it too. And so I think Littman has done it on and off and Panorama has done it on and off, and now we're all kind of combining it. So please come to Littman next Thursday, and the PTO is hosting a nacho bar, is that correct? Okay, good. And then the family picnic is next Friday on the soccer field. We're extending lunch, so it's a full hour, and gates open at 11:30 to the soccer field, so you can come in, put a blanket down, stake a claim, whether it's in the shade or the sun, whatever you want. Some of you put up like, big canopies and bring folding tables, have at it, whatever you want to do. It's a good time. There are some kids whose families cannot attend because they work or for whatever reason. So we just always, the teachers will kind of, figure out who doesn't have a family. And so you might have, more than your child sitting with you on a blanket. So just please be encouraging to all those kids that might not. And we will provide, everybody gets school lunch, unless you're providing a lunch. So don't feel like you have to feed other people. But please welcome them on your blanket or area.
Is it possible, if you want to do that, is there any way that teachers could say oh, there's 3 kids that, their families can't come. Does anyone, have a?
I would say coordinate that with the teacher. Just be aware that kids do have various allergies or food preferences. We've got vegetarians and things like that. Or they're allergic to whatever.
Got it.
And so just be aware of that, but communicate with the teacher. That is something that, it's a lot to coordinate that. So, if the teacher can manage that, great. If they can't, be respectful of that.
Okay.
Okay, and then Staff Appreciation Week. This is for our teachers and all of our staff. It is in a week and a half, May 4th to the 8th. There's daily ideas here. So every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, your kids could do a different thing. And this is just ideas that will go out in the newsletter, so you don't have to look at it now. But this is hosted by the PTO or organized by the PTO. On May 6th, that's Wednesday, we're going to do the big staff lunch in here. So all the staff get to eat a catered lunch, and then all the kids are at recess. And so we need parents to come and help do yard duty with me, because I can't watch 200 kids by myself. But I can with, 10 or so of you. And then you could stock the staff room if you want. These are kind of ideas on what to do, and then gift ideas if you want to get your teacher a gift. Any questions about Staff Appreciation Week? All this information will be in the newsletter today and next week too.
There's a flyer going out on Thursday.
Perfect.
So Sean, I'm curious, does Staff Appreciation Week happen before or after educators mark students' grades?
So the grades are at the end of each trimester. So the end of the trimester is at the end of the year. So the beginning of June is when teachers will start grading.
I wonder if Staff Appreciation can come at a different time in the year. Just a thought.
I think it's one of those national holidays.
It's a national,
Yeah.
every school everywhere does this the first week of May. But I would say that, all of our teachers are professional and they're not influenced by oh, I got a really nice gift, so I'm going to give this kid a high score.
All of our students are human too.
Yes, that's true. I can't guarantee it, but I know, that I've not ever seen evidence of teachers being influenced by a gift. Okay. And then at the end of May, in about a month, we have our open house. This is where, unlike back to school night, where the teacher does a lot of talking and you get to learn from the teacher what the year is going to be like and what the kids are going to learn. This is really kind of kid-led, student-led. So the gates will open at 5:30.